For the first time in Worcester Railers history, the organization has divided the role of head coach and general manager to two separate positions. It's my pleasure to introduce the first ever general manager and associate head coach in Worcester Railers history, Nick Tuzzolino. Nick, welcome to Worcester.
Hey, thanks for having me. Super excited.
So, Nick, obviously, this new title is something that fans aren't exactly familiar with. So, before we get to know you a little bit here, just talk about that position first and what that really means.
Yeah, well, starting with the hockey side of things, it's your traditional collaboration with Bob, and I'll be running the D and some other of the special teams, and really working together to get the on ice product where it needs to be. And general manager is in the sense of the word of what you know in the hockey world. It's constructing the roster, controlling the salary cap and movement and up and down, and really build the product that we want on the ice for the great fans of Worcester.
So you're also going to be managing things like the organization's relationship with the Islanders and the Bridgeport Islanders. That's an interesting dynamic for you, getting into your history a little bit as well. You're a former Islanders draft pick, so you're now part of the organizational tree here. Talk about what that relationship's going to be like and what this moment's like for you coming full circle.
Yeah, I'm super excited about it. Obviously, when you play this game and you get drafted, it's always nice to see it come full circle, especially with those teams. And I look forward to learning a lot. Obviously, the Islanders organization has a great history, and Chris Lamoriello is a tremendous person in the game, and obviously someone you can learn a lot from. So again, just making sure those lines of communication are wide open and get as many guys up there as we can.
We'll keep talking hockey here, but I want to get to know a little bit more about you, help the fans understand your background a little bit more. You just recently wrapped up a season where you were the assistant coach and director of player development for the Savannah Ghost Pirates down in the South Division. Just talk about your time down there and what your duties were with Savannah.
Yeah, no, the time down there was great. Obviously learned a lot of stuff from the coaching side, but also just, managing players and making sure we can get them at their best, whether it's, one-on-one video to skill development and of course also evolving that with setting stuff up the chain to Vegas at the time. So it was something that was really good, a ton of experience when it came to obviously getting players in and out and traveling in the South, which is obviously a little different than some places in the other parts of the league. And obviously the fan base and everything like that was something that was pretty special. So it was cool seeing that type of buy-in, and it's great for our league knowing that that exists and that type of passion is around.
Now, you became an assistant coach and director of player development with Savannah after you wrapped up your playing career. You played 20 games with the Ghost Pirates during their inaugural season. Talk about what that was like and how you ended up shifting dynamic from going from a player into becoming the team's one of the team's coaches.
Yeah, well, I had a pretty long playing career, and then I had stopped for somewhere around 6 years and worked player development with the Sabres and the Buffalo Junior Sabres, and did some stuff like that. And I had an opportunity to kind of shift gears and kind of take a different opportunity coaching wise slash playing. And part of the gig was if I could come back and kind of play and help the team out a little bit. And luckily, I was still in average enough shape that I could stomach some minutes and also be a leader and really try and understand what the pro game was going to be like and work my way into that coaching role that you just spoke of.
You've played in over 400 games at the ECHL level. Talk about, or nearly 400 anyway, just talk about what your experience in and around this league was like as a player and how you feel that has so far helped to translate to what you know as a coach.
It's understanding the value of this league, and it's not looking at it as a place where you're being demoted. It's a developmental league. It's got beautiful cities to play in. It's got great people, and if you use it properly, it can take you anywhere you want to go. Whether it is the American League to the NHL, or maybe just some job that you want to live in that city and meet your wife and grow old. And but that's the type of place that the league needs to be respected for that, and it helps players again when you come out of college in a certain role or major juniors a certain role. This is that step to pro hockey where you can redefine your role or show people that you can score or you can defend or you can be physical, and it's kind of that clean slate for what I would deem the back nine of your career.
Just want to talk a bit more about your connections and different various things. Obviously, like you mentioned, you were coaching alongside the Buffalo Junior Sabres hockey organization over in the Ontario Junior Hockey League. Just talk about your time there and how you were really able to dive into the developmental side of growing players' games early on in their careers.
Yeah, it's a great league. Obviously, it was in the Toronto area, and we were the only American team in Buffalo, so it was kind of a hotbed for scouts. And it was that tweener league of guys that weren't going major junior and still wanted to go Division 1. And what we really worked on is just guys being able to play a structure, because obviously hockey now is so highly skilled that a lot of scouts have to sift through it. So we gave them just a pretty simple template to play with, and a lot of their skill shine through. And in those years, we were able to produce some pretty good Division I hockey players. Had a player drafted from the OJ team to the NHL, which was something that's never happened before. So again, it was just providing an opportunity for kids that, again, in the area, it was well deserved.
One of the things that's interesting here is obviously you have a brother, Tony Tuzzolino, who's a little bit older than you, but did actually play for the Boston Bruins, had himself an NHL career. Talk about your relationship with your brother and sort of just how you got into hockey, really.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I ever had a choice not to get into hockey. I just feel like it was something I was always going to do. My brother and I are very close. When I first started coaching, he was my assistant coach to kind of help me along because he's been working in Buffalo. But no, I used to travel to Michigan State, watch him play. I watched him win 2 Calder Cups. He's played with a lot of the original 6 teams, Boston, the Rangers. So it's been, actually did play with the Islanders too. So again, it's been a lot of fun. And again, it's something that we connect on a, daily and, basis and talk about all the time, but he's old school. It's a lot of fun to watch, and I'll never forget one of my memories of him playing with Boston. It was when Joe Thornton was on the team. They went to the Air Canada Center, and it was one of those things where, you're a fourth line guy and you only get X amount of shifts and you better do good. And one of his line mates threw a pretty good turnover up the middle, got scored on his first shift, and that was his last shift of the game. So it's just one of those things that always stick with you. And he was someone I always try to emulate and, try and get to. And, he was a tremendous leader and, someone for me that I still look up to and rely on.
Continuing to talk about family here, you've got a wife and 3 young kids that you're looking to be bringing to the Worcester area here soon. Just talk about what family means to you and how obviously your relationship with your family's been and working through your hockey career.
Yeah, no, it's been special. I got a wife who's been with me 11 years of marriage now, but a lot of it, the dating years were through the playing times, and so she understands it all. My kids 9 and twins that are 7. We made the decision a year and change ago that this is what we were going to do, and we're super excited. My kids love what I do, and it's not from the hockey standpoint. It's just because it's a team, it's a family, and it's a group of people that they see as much as their family as much as I do, and that's why it's so special to make sure I have a good family off the ice and on the ice, because again, I think that's the beauty of hockey is and it's not all the time you're just with the colleague. It's that family piece that makes it special, and then that's what makes your team grow and hopefully brings wins.
Keep talking about that cultural side of things for a little bit here. You mentioned earlier, obviously, a lot of your responsibilities are going to be involved with player personnel and making sure that the roster has a solid foundation, but you are still heavily involved on the hockey side, as you mentioned. Just talk about the culture you and Bob are really trying to instill in this year's team and how that's going to help to develop into wins, as you put it.
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, we want people who want to be here and be here for the right reasons. And like I've mentioned before, whether it's making it to the American League or, changing your college, whatever it is, we want the people who want to be here for the right reasons. And I also believe, and I know Bob feels the same way, that if you're a good person, it portrays onto the ice. And we believe in people having good character off the ice and being nipped up and making sure that they're courteous to the people in town, courteous to the other staff around the rink, because again, that just echoes as an organization. And once you have that support and that kind of accountability to everyone around you, and everyone feels like they have a role in the team, no matter how big or small, again, that is when it all connects. And now you're playing for something, and then that passion and that pride shows up on a nightly basis.
Getting to learn a bit more about you outside of the rink, as well as we've been talking family a little bit too. Railers fans love to offer their suggestions on a lot of things. Is there a favorite food you might have that maybe the fans can help to give you some pointers towards? I know you're not entirely familiar with the area quite yet.
I do love seafood, so any type of seafood suggestions would be great. My wife is
You're coming
celiac
from
and gluten
Savannah to
free,
Worcester
so
for seafood, so we'll see how that ends up panning out.
but yeah, no, we're pretty simple. I mean, you can't really do wrong with a good pasta place, so that's probably all number one right there.
I can definitely think of a few off the top of my head. I know that the Railers fans will probably want to suggest some too, so I'll leave it up to them. Other than that, things you're looking forward to doing in and around the area. Obviously, kids have hobbies and whatnot. Other things that you're interested in outside the rink.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely excited to get my kids going in hockey and baseball. I have obviously my being down south, my kids play travel baseball and played what little hockey that I had started up in Savannah team wise. So definitely excited to get into that. I kind of want to go out and see the Woo Sox. I know that's a thing. And again, just I enjoy that summer passion. It's a lot of fun for me to do that, and I'm looking forward to getting there and just being able to spend some time there before the season. Because again, I do believe that a lot of the team and the cities you play in is a very similar to your culture that you're living in. So understanding what the town is, understanding what the city is, and that's the type of product we want to have on the ice. And like I said, hopefully that gives us something exciting for people to watch and get them to come into our games.
Nick, any final message you want to impart on Railers fans here as we get closer to puck drop on October 19th?
Ooh, put me on the spot. No, I'll just say let's get ready to go and ready to make some noise.
All right. Well, there you have it. Nick Tuzzolino is the first ever general manager and associate head coach in Worcester Railers history. Nick, thanks for taking the time today. It was a pleasure. We look forward to seeing you around Worcester here this summer.
Absolute pleasure, Tim. Thank you.